Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're your shortcut to being genuinely well-informed. Today, we're embarking on a pretty fascinating deep dive. We're looking at the Economist's recent review, their 40 best books published so far this year. That's from June 5th, 2025. Our mission really is to pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge, maybe some surprising facts from this list, help you understand what's truly noteworthy right now. Think of it like a concentrated shot of insight. So instead of you needing to read all 40 books yourself, we're giving you a distilled glimpse. You get the key ideas, the influential figures, the pressing topics shaping our world. It's more than just a summary, though. We're asking, what did these big books really tell us about how power is shifting, about identity, even the future of humanity?
Exactly. And these aren't just, random titles plucked out of thin air. They really reflect what's capturing our collective attention, what's driving crucial dialogues across so many different fields. The source we're using, it has these rich summaries that lets us go beyond just what the books are about. We can really dig into the why these recommendations. And looking at them together, you start to see these larger themes emerge. It's like a powerful lens on the world's current preoccupations. Really interesting stuff.
Okay, let's unpack this first category then. Biography and memoir. There's always real power in understanding key figures, right? What makes them tick. We start with a big one, Buckley. The Life and the Revolution That Changed America by Sam Tanenhaus. And it is massive, over 1,000 pages. But the Economist review asserts it's not a word too long, which is quite something. It gives this deep dive into William Buckley, who, famously revived American conservatism in the latter half of the 20th century, apparently through his love of argument and erudite, incisive prose.
Yeah, and I think the core insight from a really comprehensive biography like this Buckley one, it's that profound societal change. It isn't always driven just by grand policy or, sweeping movements. It can actually be ignited by one individual's sheer intellectual force, their ability to articulate a compelling vision, their commitment to, rigorous debate. It's almost a masterclass, really, in how ideas, when they're wielded persuasively, become the ultimate tool of influence, how they can reshape entire political landscapes.
That's a really powerful point about how individual leaders can shape things.
Yeah.
And following on from that, it feels like the tech world is also kind of defined by these larger-than-life figures, doesn't it? How do these newer tech biographies compare, say, to the historical ones like Buckley's in terms of what they reveal about leadership?
Oh, it's a great question. And these books, they offer a fascinating contrast, actually. So you take Careless People by Sarah Wynn-Williams. It's described as the book Meta doesn't want you to read.
Ooh, intriguing.
Right. It's called A Riveting Corporate Kiss and Tell. Paints Mark Zuckerberg as unfeeling and shallow. But then you contrast that with The Optimist, Sam Altman, OpenAI, and The Race to Invent the Future by Kee Hegy. The review highlights this one as a deeply researched, gripping account of OpenAI. And importantly, while the author did have access to Altman,
Yes.
it's specifically noted as no hagiography, which means, it avoids being overly flattering or uncritical. And that's crucial, I think, for balanced journalism.
Right. So a real contrast there. One seems very critical, the other trying for objectivity, even with access. What's the sort of collective takeaway, then, from these glimpses into the lives of these tech titans?
Well, I think these books collectively reveal something quite crucial. It's that the personal character, the unvarnished internal dynamics of a company's leadership. These aren't just behind-the-scenes details, not at all. They fundamentally shape the company's culture, its product, its public perception, even its societal impact, often with pretty profound consequences for all of us. Whether you're looking at Bill Gates' early programming prowess and entrepreneurial zeal, that's from source code, My Beginnings.
His origin story.
Exactly. Or Jensen Huang's transformation of NVIDIA, from a peddler of graphics chips for computer gamers into the semiconductor titan at the heart of the AI revolution. That's in the thinking machine. You just see how deeply entwined that personal drive and the corporate destiny really are, especially in tech.
That really brings us nicely to the broader forces shaping our world, doesn't it? Which is what we see in the business, economics, and technology category. This section, I think, offers some truly compelling insights into the challenges, the opportunities of our, very interconnected planet. Let's start with Apple in China, the capture of the world's greatest company by Patrick McGee. It asks a really crucial question, doesn't it? Can Apple thrive without China? And it details how Apple became so enmeshed with the country, exploring the implications of what they call the fracturing of global trade.
Right. And this book, it really highlights a significant vulnerability in our modern global economy. The core insight, I think, is that even the most powerful multinational corporations, they're incredibly susceptible to geopolitical shifts and these trade tensions.
Yeah.
It really makes you realize that what might seem like a distant policy decision, in some capital city, it can directly impact supply chains, product availability, prices for consumers everywhere. It definitely challenges that old assumption of a perpetually seamless global market.
It certainly does. But, I mean, couldn't you argue that for many, that interconnectedness also creates immense resilience?
Yeah.
It allows companies to maybe pivot to new supply chains rather than just collapsing. What's the other side of that?
That's a really fair point about resilience, absolutely. And that's precisely where a book like The Art of Uncertainty, How to Navigate Chance, Ignorance, Risk, and Luck by David Spiegelhalter becomes so valuable.
Oh, okay.
It's described as an invaluable guide to thinking about uncertainty, apparently using intuitive assumptions and very simple algebra. So it's not just for mathematicians.
Right.
The striking takeaway here, I think, is how a book that might sound quite academic actually offers this practical mental toolkit for decision-making in everyday life, not just for complex systems. It fundamentally equips you, the listener, to grapple with the unpredictable nature of our world, offers strategies to make better decisions even when you don't have all the facts.
From personal decisions to global strategy. That does sound like a vital toolkit. And speaking of strategy, Choke Points by Edward Fishman, described as an insider's guide to economic warfare. That sounds like it offers a pretty unique perspective. It's noted for its satisfying amount of dash and drama, taking readers on a global tour of American sanctions and showing how ingenious technocrats have forged new, more precise tools of economic coercion.
Yeah, the broader implication there is quite stark. It suggests that economic leverage is increasingly becoming a primary tool in international relations. It affects everything from global trade to human rights, often entirely without military conflict. This book really reveals how nations are redefining power dynamics, moving beyond traditional warfare, let's say, to wield financial and technological control as these really potent weapons. It's a fundamental shift, really, in how global influence is exerted.
Wow.
And this focus on corporate power, it extends to other books, too, like The Corporation in the 21st Century, asking, what firms are for, trying to be clearer than other waffly texts, or House of Huawei, which details the rise of China's really powerful tech giant based on decades of documents. They all sort of contribute to understanding this shifting landscape. We should also quickly mention Empire of AI by Karen Hao was also on the list here.
Got it. Okay, so now let's explore how these deep dives help us understand ourselves, maybe our shared heritage, moving into culture and arts. Let's dive into Fatherhood, A History of Love and Power by Augustine Sedgewick. This sounds fascinating. Details how thinking about dads has changed over time, apparently revealing the sheer variety of nonsense that people have believed, and a common theme of cruelty, which is quite sobering.
Yeah, the profound insight from a book like Fatherhood is just how deeply our most fundamental human relationships like fatherhood are shaped by these evolving cultural norms, historical contexts, often in surprising and, sometimes quite harsh ways. It really challenges us to look beyond our own contemporary assumptions, doesn't it? To see the full, complex tapestry of human behavior and societal expectations through time. And this applies to how we use language, too, actually.
And on that note, then, Pronoun Trouble, The Story of Us in 7 Little Words by John McWhorter. That sounds like another fascinating exploration of language and identity. Despite the title, maybe suggesting controversy, it's described as an erudite tour. It goes through I, you, we, he, shat, and they, and the review commends it for avoiding any culture war bomb throwing.
Right, and this book, it offers a really compelling insight into how language, even something as seemingly simple as pronouns, isn't just a tool for communication. It's actually a living reflection of our evolving social structures, our individual identities, our collective consciousness. It shows that understanding language is really key to understanding ourselves and the complex ways we relate to the world around us. It's about much more than just grammar, it's about the very fabric of human connection.
That is a truly illuminating perspective on something we use every day without really thinking about it. Okay, shifting gears slightly, but staying with the human experience. Let's turn to fiction, which offers different, but I think equally powerful kinds of insights into the human condition. We have The Dream Hotel by Laila Lalami, an intriguing novel, it says, about the creative technology and the trade-offs people make for convenience. What sounds particularly unique is its structure. It combines traditional storytelling with excerpts from a company's terms of service, medical reports, and meeting minutes.
Yeah, that structure sounds fascinating. And this book It raises an important question, doesn't it? How does fiction, through its narrative devices, its imaginative scenarios, how does it help us critically examine our societal trajectory and maybe those often unstated contracts we make with technology in our lives? It offers this really compelling way to explore contemporary anxieties. It lets us wrestle with complex ethical questions, convenience versus control, that sort of thing, in a way that pure nonfiction might not always achieve.
And from that contemporary exploration, we move to, well, historical resonance with two powerful novels by Nobel laureates. First, Theft by Abdulrazak Gurnah. It's his first novel since 2021, focusing on friendship and betrayal as three people come of age in Tanzania. And then, We Do Not Part by Han Kang, chronicling a really bloody chapter in South Korea's history. The killings on Jeju Island in 1947-54. Apparently, it powerfully incorporates quotations from archive material, conjuring beauty alongside tragedy.
Yes, and what's particularly compelling about works like these from authors like Gurnah and Kang is how they leverage storytelling to give you this visceral, deeply human understanding of historical trauma, of the complex human condition itself. They make these profound experiences accessible, deeply resonant, often much more so than a, dry historical account might. They invite you to connect emotionally with past events and their lasting impact.
Absolutely. Fiction's power. Okay, finally, under history, we have 38 Londres Street, On Impunity, Pinochet in England, and A Nazi in Patagonia by Philippe Sands. This book, it sounds like a real page-turner, weaving together travelogue, detective story, and legal drama. It aims to show that the long-rumored connection between Augusto Pinochet, the Chilean dictator, and Walter Ruff, a Nazi officer, was real. It's also noted as the third installment in a loose trilogy about justice and impunity.
And this book, it powerfully exemplifies how painstaking historical research can expose these hidden links, how it reveals the enduring quest for justice in a really complex world. It challenges you, the listener, to consider the long shadow of impunity, how past injustices can resonate through generations across continents, and it highlights the relentless pursuit of truth that's required to confront them, a really important theme.
Wow. What a deep dive that was. We've really navigated an incredible breadth of knowledge here, haven't we? From the minds of tech giants shaping our digital future, to the complexities of global trade, the evolving history of human relationships, and these profoundly moving works of fiction tackling everything from tech creep to historical trauma. These curated insights, they really do offer a shortcut, I think, to being incredibly well-informed on the ideas shaping our world right now.
Absolutely. And this deep dive into the year's best books, it isn't just about what's physically on the shelves, it's about the ideas, what's shaping our conversations, our industries, our understanding of what it means to be human in this particular moment. So as you reflect on these titles, maybe consider what underlying narratives do they reveal about our present moment? And perhaps what questions do they invite you to explore further in your own curiosity about these shifting landscapes of power, identity, and the very future of humanity?
A perfect place to leave it. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Keep exploring, keep questioning.